inscription in our church building. To begin with, let me highlight the London Missionary Society, known as the LMS, in the year 18th century. They did much educational and literary work from 1812 to 1815. One of the famous educationists was the Reverend Robert Morrison and Reverend William Mill, who came from Scotland, did much for the mission in this part of the world. As they were not allowed to go to China directly, which was their destination, they waited patiently and fruitfully in Malacca. While waiting in Malacca, they did missionary work through CCM, literary work through their friends, did translation of many of the Christian literature. They initiated the Anglo-Chinese College. Later, this institution was shifted to Hong Kong with the help of Sir Stamford Raffles, the founder of Singapore. Let me go to the second person, William Mill and his wife. His wife died in Malacca in 1819, the year Singapore was founded, and she was buried in the Malacca Dutch graveyard at Jalan Gereja, near the present Anglican Vicarage. Before we go into the church, let us understand its location. It is situated between the present Youth Museum and the State House, and it was erected in 1753. The Dutch worshipped at St. Paul's Hill, not far from the church, for about 100 years, and Christ Church Melaka was built as part of their centenary celebration in Malacca. Christ Church Melaka is the finest example of Dutch architecture remaining in this country. It is a plain rectangle in plan, apart from the rounded heads of the windows and doors. It is a study in straight line. Its length is 80 feet, breadth 42 feet, and height to ceiling is 40 feet. The fine ceiling beam, each cut from a single tree, measures 48 feet by 12 inches square, a span of 11 ceiling seldom attempted in present-day architecture. The two-roof was patched tiles but later changed. The framing of the doors and windows is original, and the arched crowns are filled with a uniform quaint. The north and south doors are further decorated by carved supporting panels and molded plaster cireries. These are almost the only attempts at structural decoration in the whole fabrics. As one naturally expects to find in an old Dutch church, there is no marked division between the nave and chancel. The line of wall is unbroken, as a floor level was unbroken. The various grades of approaches to the altar are quite modern, dating from the chaplaincy of Bishop Hose. Where the altar now stands stood the Dutch pulpit and the prayer desk. The present pulpit is the original. The Last Supper. This is a central panel. It is made of mosaic of the Last Supper. It was broken from England, but it was later restored in Malacca. The records of the church are practically complete from 1642, that is, from the beginning of the Dutch period. They were tabulated by the Reverend T.J. Hardy in 1897, and very useful catalogue printed by the government press in the year 1902. It is a joy to introduce the list of clergy, chaplains, and vicars who served CCM. The tablet that you will see, it was restored by the present Vicar of CCM, Bishop Dr. S. Battumala, in the year 2003, when CCM celebrated its 250th anniversary of its history. Now let me highlight a few names. In 1813, Reverend William Mill, a LMS missionary, served as a missionary in Melaka. In 1834, when the Reverend F.J. Dara served as a chaplain for the Dutch church, and he was during this time the church petitioned to consecrate CCM for use according to the rites and usages of the Church of England. The petition was sent to the Bishop of Calcutta, Bishop Wilson, and as he was a metropolitan, in 1858, CCM was transferred to the government of Melaka to undertake to keep its proper state of repair. The Reverend George Frederick Hose served as a chaplain of CCM in 1868. Later, he was consecrated as a bishop of the diocese. He was the first priest to become bishop. During the war, the Asian clergy, Reverend C.D. Nyanamani in 1942 and Reverend Wang Yang Ing in 1943, served the Asian community. In 1947, the Reverend Leslie R. Wilson, brother of Bishop Wilson, was instituted as the first vicar. In 201, the Venerable Dr. S. Battumalai, that is myself, was consecrated as the bishop. In 208, was appointed as a vicar.